Hello everyone, Edain here, and welcome back to the Edain Mod Battle School, where today's particular lesson, as I'm going to call it, is actually a recommendation. Since last time I went over every single hotkey, every single keybind, whatever you want to call it, I never can think of exactly one word for it. But why not go on into a little bit further into that with the command groups, the hotkeys for commanding certain groups of units and also buildings. Because, yeah, mastering this is not very easy. Because you've always got to try and keep splitting up each thing, not accidentally press Q, select everything, and then press Control 1 to move everything, and then mess all of it up. So my way of doing this, well, normally when I'm making skirmish battles, I don't go all out in commands because I don't want to put myself out that much. But some command keys that I would use, if I remember to use them more often, would be the pressing 0 as my command key for my marketplace or economic building that allows me to get the tools, because it's always good to get these out as fast as possible. And it saves me from having to, say for example, I'm over here fighting a battle over here. Instead of having to click all the way over here, moving my mouse, I can instead just go back over there, press the 0, double tap, it's now on here, and then I can go into here quickly and access any of the tools I want to. The same is with your recruitment building. Your main recruitment building, or buildings, depending on your faction, you want to make sure you have on a command key. I have the barracks, for example, on command key 4, just because I only really use I only would use 3 unit command groups. Any more than that, and it gets a bit too much micro intensive. So for command group 4, I have the barracks, which can get obviously all of our base troops, which you can all recruit just from holding here. So again, if I was over here fighting, I wanted to get some troops over here quickly, I could say recruit 2 soldiers, have the rally points set there, and then they'd be on their way. And then if something changed, if we went further ahead, I could then again just move off. Say I was fighting with Denethor, use his ability, and then press back onto the barracks, get the units, and now say the rally point is here, or here, or here. You know, just places where you can keep recruiting troops without constantly going back here and losing out on what is going on in the actual fight. That would be if you wanted to really get the best optimization of your every single thing that happens. Basically, acting like an AI, having the skills of the AI without having to, you know, be a literal AI. And then, obviously, one other thing I do is the unit command groups. I always have them close to where my dominant gaming hand, which is the mouse hand, the keyboard hand even. The keyboard hand, your dominant hand, for me is left. I always keep it just to the left side of the keyboard. So 1, 2, 3. Those are the keybinds that I use for my troops. Obviously, if you're left-handed, you might be right-hand dominant on keyboard. So you might say 0, 9, 8 are your units. And for 1, I normally have my main infantry blob with most of my heroes. In 2, if I do have archers and I want to keep them safe and not in the main blob, I would put them in a separate command group. Otherwise, I would use them as number 2 for cavalry, especially with Gondor. Gondor, Dol Amroth Knights. I actually did a 1v8. Sorry, not 1v8. A 8-player free-for-all for someone who wanted a bit of advice how to play Gondor, who did a 1v8, a 8-player free-for-all scenario. I went in as Gondor, got Dol Amroth Knights, had them in command group 2, and they were beautiful. And that is all of that. You can also, for example, the actual base keybinds that we went over before. H to go back to your home. If there's an event that happens, you can press space to go back to it. If, for example, I use Denethor's Clairvoyant Stone again, and we see Gollum, for example, we can then press space to see Gollum. Also, if you're making command groups and you want to add certain things in quickly without messing around with everything, if, for example, it's some of the same units you already have, double tap E, that would select all these troops from across the world, and then just press Control 1 and it adds them to and it makes the full command group. You can also do Shift 1, I believe, if I was to select these as well. Shift 1, or maybe 1, Shift 1. I don't know how it works, I've forgotten. But yeah, just pressing a bunch of units, and also you can deselect them, and then control, and that takes them out of the command group. If you want them to be like a strike team that attacked a certain point, say for example, this settlement was an enemy settlement, you wanted to have them go on their own, but not get mixed up with everything else, do a separate command group 5. Just a quick attack from some units. You press S to stop, so you have all those entities in one place, and then attack the building. And then maybe after that, you have them go over after another resource building, and you just keep them in a different place. So strike teams you can have as well as some other keybinds. You're not going to remember, but you can just use every now and again. And if they all get defeated, so be it. You can move on with a new thing. And other command binds, you could again another recruitment building, but with this one it's a bit different with the errand riders of Gondor. That's the one. You can actually make a command group for the errand rider himself, so then you can go back to it and then make that. It does obviously mean that unlike a ordinary recruitment building where you can then set the rally point, you can't do that on this if you do that, because it doesn't have a separate command group. But then you can easily make some extra troops from your signal fires. That works obviously for every faction's settlement buildings as well. And then any other like major buildings, as I said here, the marketplace for Gondor, all the different resource boosting buildings would be the marketplace for Gondor, the armory for Rohan, the forge for Lothlorien, the library for Rivendell, Imladris, the forge for the dwarves, Sauron technically for Mordor. If you want to do Sauron separately in a separate command group, you can do that. Isengard's armory, Angmar is the Dark Iron Forge, and Misty Mountains doesn't have one. But yeah, that's kind of like going over how to master keybinds. I know it's quite a small video. I didn't expect this to be a long video. It's more just a follow-up from the previous video talking about keybinds, where you can just go over different keybinds for your command groups, use some of the keybinds you already know to basically go further ahead in your experience. It's a small thing, I know, but these small things can make big differences. And again, I know I've not done this very well in videos in the past. That's because I normally don't, when I'm trying to talk while also gaming, you kind of get sidetracked. You want to try and focus on what's going on around you. You make a few mistakes, it happens. I actually did a lot better with that, as I said, when I did that 1v8 for someone as a replay. I didn't do it as a video, I just did full-on hard work just getting into that game, and it worked. I actually thought about some of these command groups while I was doing it. Because yeah, currently I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 0. And again, if you press the keybind once to select what you want, you press it twice to center on the majority of the command group. And obviously, in some cases, that would be just a single entity. And then obviously with buildings, it's obviously going to be the building itself. So I hope this has been educational. I don't know what else I can really say about this other than use keybinds. They're really good. Keybinds are really, really good. They can, in PvP scenarios, I know for a fact that having that extra like second or two to actually process things that's going on in front of you in a fight, instead of going back to a recruitment building, or wasting time not recruiting when you have a lot of resources and open command points, can be detrimental, because players do act faster than AI in those those flash moments where you need to keep going, but you can't because you've ran out of everything. You might have lost a big fight, or you might have won a big fight, but you have now got very few troops left, and if you try going any further, you'll lose. So take all these little lessons with keybinds and put them into your own games. See how they work. I'd be very interested to hear your opinions on if they've helped, if they've not helped, what you prefer. Just talk to me. I'm always happy to listen and help in the future. And as I said at the beginning, this was a viewer recommendation. If any of you have any recommendations of your own, you want to ask me about certain topics, let me know. I'll do a Battle School video about it now. Hope you've all enjoyed and learnt, and I'll see you all in the next one. Farewell.